There are photographs that should not exist, images that refuse to sit quietly inside logic. We trust cameras. We believe they capture truth, nothing more. But sometimes the lens records something we were never meant to see. Before we go further, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to join the archive, because some records are not meant to be forgotten. This file begins in 1936, inside a silent estate in Norfolk, England, a place called Raynham Hall, a house heavy with history and something else. Two men arrived that afternoon, professionals, a photographer and his assistant. No interest in ghosts, no belief in the supernatural. They were there for architecture, nothing more. The staircase stood before them, wide, polished, empty, or so it seemed. The assistant felt at first a shift in the air, not a breeze, not a sound, but pressure, like the house itself was holding its breath. The photographer focused the camera, hidden beneath a black cloth, seeing only the still image in front of him. Then everything changed. The assistant looked up. Something was forming on the stairs. Not solid, not fully there, but gathering shape. A woman slowly descending, each step silent, unnatural. Her form glowed faintly, like light trapped inside fog. The assistant froze, then panic hit. He shouted, demanded the photograph be taken right now. The photographer reacted instantly, uncapping the lens. A flash exploded through the hall. And just like that, she was gone. At the time, it sounded impossible. A hallucination, a trick of nerves. But this house had a history. More than 200 years earlier, a woman lived and suffered within those walls, trapped in isolation, erased from the world while still alive, locked away, forgotten, buried before death ever came. When she finally died, something did not leave with her. Witnesses across generations described the same figure. A woman in a heavy gown, moving through corridors, appearing on staircases, watching from the dark. One officer, steady and disciplined, saw her face. Where eyes should have been, there was nothing. Just empty darkness staring back. Another man, armed and prepared, encountered her in a long hallway. She approached slowly, deliberately. Then she stopped and lifted a light, revealing her face. Not empty this time, smiling, a twisted, unnatural grin. He fired his weapon. The shot passed through her. She remained. For a moment longer, she simply stood there before dissolving into nothing. The bullet stayed behind, buried in wood, proof that something had stood there, even if it could not be touched. Back in 1936, the photograph was developed, and there she was. Not a blur, not a stain, a figure descending the staircase, transparent but structured. The folds of her dress visible, her posture unmistakable. Even the railing behind her could be seen through her form. The assistant had not imagined it. The camera had seen her too. Experts examined the image. Every flaw, every possibility. Double exposure, manipulation, accident. Nothing held. Even investigators known for exposing fraud admitted one thing: the story matched the evidence. And the evidence refused to disappear. This was not just a story, it was documentation. The house remained occupied, but never truly empty. Footsteps were heard when no one walked. Doors shifted without touch. Cold spread through rooms without cause. The staircase, always the same place, always where she appeared. Some believe she is a recording, a fragment of suffering trapped in the walls. But recordings do not react. They do not watch. They do not smile. Whatever remains in that house knows it is being seen, and perhaps it wants to be. The photograph still exists today, unchanged, unbroken by time. A single captured moment where something crossed into our world, just long enough to be remembered. So tonight, when your home falls quiet, when the lights go out and you stand alone in a hallway, think carefully before you look behind you. And if you ever take a photograph in the dark, ask yourself, what might already be standing there waiting for the flash? Like the video, subscribe to join the archive. And if you have your own documented encounter, leave it in the comments. Some records are still being written.
So, after delving into the sheer terror we just explored, the tragic imprisonment of Lady Dorothy Walpole, the terrifying encounters by late-night guests, and that iconic, chilling photograph captured on the grand staircase. You're probably wondering, what exactly is the vibe at Raynham Hall today? Well, my personal take on this famous English estate right now is all about its breathtaking, deceptive charm. If you drive into the quiet Norfolk countryside today, expecting to find a dark, rotting, Hollywood-style haunted mansion, you will be completely caught off guard. During the daylight hours, this stunning 17th century country house actually possesses a remarkably serene and peaceful aesthetic. With its grand, historic architecture, elegant brick facade, and sprawling, lush green estates, it feels surprisingly cozy. Bathed in the soft English sunlight, the property genuinely looks like a bright, picturesque Thomas Kinkade-style painting of a classic, upper-class European home. Today, it remains a majestic private family residence that occasionally opens its doors to the public. But honestly, from my perspective, that picture-perfect exterior is exactly what makes the reality of the Brown Lady haunting so deeply unsettling. The contrast is just jarring, because while it looks like a serene, high-society retreat by day, the tragic history baked into those very walls refuses to rest. You can be admiring the beautiful antique woodwork, but the moment you stand at the bottom of that grand oak staircase, the exact spot where the Brown Lady was famously photographed, that suffocating dread rushes right back in. Lady Dorothy never truly got to leave her golden cage. She is just waiting in the shadows of her beautiful home. Raynham Hall proves that an idyllic country estate can still hold a centuries-old heartbreak. Thanks for joining me on this case here on Rhyme's Journey, and I'll catch you in the next mystery.